Spiral, a horror thriller directed by Darren Lynn Bousman, who also directed Saw 2, 3, and 4, but not the original, which was directed by James Wan. And the film stars Chris Rock, Sam Jackson, Samuel L. Jackson, and Max Minghella. So Spiral is the 9th film in the series and follows Detective Ezekiel Banks and his rookie partner as they take charge of an investigation into grisly murders that we are all familiar with by now. But entrapped in a deepening mystery, Ezekiel finds himself at the center of the killer's morbid game. You know, I'm actually not the biggest fan when it comes to the Saw films, but at the same time, I usually always tend to kind of look forward to when they come out. Like once it releases, I'm there. But, you know, once it comes out, I check it out, and I'm never really finding myself too indulged in wanting to discuss the films. Maybe every once in a while, but I don't really tend to find the stories very intriguing, except for maybe the first film. And after that, maybe number 2, but I really didn't care after that. I mean, it was all about more intricate ways of seeing people be tortured, I guess you can say. After watching these films, I just sort of tend to move on. Watching one of these movies is sort of like going to the park and walking around for me. Like, it's nice once I get there to see the scenery and to just walk around and chill and feel the breeze, but like once I leave the park, that's basically the last thing on my mind. And that may have been a very shitty analogy, but it's true for me. Like, I don't really have the best relationship with the Saw films, and I don't know if everyone else can say the same, but that's just how I feel about it. And I can't really say that Spiral was really any different, but god damn it, was Chris Rock's dialogue in this movie awesome. Like, I really enjoyed it. And for me, it was sort of like this film was like half a Saw film and like the other half was like Chris Rock's stand-up special, which was awesome for me. And it may not sound very cool for some hardcore Saw fans, but for me, I loved it. The comedic relief was just right on time. His comedic dialogue and the comedic relief throughout the film, I mean, the guy is very entertaining. I mean, we know this, he's been around for ages, he's a legend, but when you see him in this film, I mean, I don't know, it's really nice to have him around to break the monotony between certain scenes. Which, by the way, there's not really a lot of monotony in this film, probably mainly because of Chris Rock and his comedic relief when things aren't happening and people aren't being sliced into pieces. And honestly, I was laughing so much that I found myself thinking like, damn, is this film supposed to be this funny? It wasn't that bad though. Not a whole lot of character development, but I didn't think the story was bad. I mean, it is your typical Saw movie, sure, but I kind of liked it. So I guess I'll probably deem this film as like a guilty pleasure. Now, because they really didn't attempt to do anything new with the blueprint, I'd say that it felt very copied and pasted, and I'd like to think that they are just playing it safe to expand on the new Saw universe moving forward, because I can definitely see that happening, especially after seeing the way the film ended. But back to Chris Rock for a second though, because I know he takes his acting serious when it comes to him playing serious roles, that is, getting away from that stigma of being seen as just the funny guy. And I know that that's something that he's been trying to tackle for some years now with the roles that he's taken in films. But in this movie, he's still the comedic relief, and it really works. But in this film, he definitely uses his comedy more to his advantage, which indeed makes him a very fun character to follow around, which is what you should probably want from a main protagonist, right? Like, you don't really want to be able to follow around someone who's not giving you much action. And he does a great job, especially in the beginning of the film, to keep the audience entertained in between main sequences of the story. And Sam Jackson doesn't really get a whole lot of screen time in this movie. I mean, you get enough Sam Jackson in this film to sort of get that vibe that he's here and like it's a Sam Jackson movie almost, if that makes sense. But the biggest thing to me was the scenes that he shared with Chris Rock. I mean, I don't know. It's probably because we don't see it a lot these days. We don't see two legends on screen like that from like the comedy genre. And Sam Jackson, of course, he's not a comedian, but he's always usually our comedic relief in films. And to see those two, see their chemistry on screen was just awesome. It was me like watching two uncles bicker at a barbecue. Like, it was really fun to watch. And when I heard the damn soundtrack, I was like, yep, I can now confirm that Chris Rock was an executive producer behind this movie. I mean, he spiced up the scenes with some 21 Savage while some poor bastard in the background is being sliced to pieces. And no, that didn't really happen, but I mean, it might as well have happened. I don't know how serious this particular installment in the series is meant to be taken, but I thought it was fun. And I can definitely tell you right now that this is for sure one of those movie night, back to the theaters with the homies kind of movie, whatever the that means. But definitely a fun movie night film. I liked it. And if there's a sequel, I mean, what the hell am I talking about? Of course there's gonna be a sequel. I mean, this shit is like the Fast and Furious franchise by now. So yeah, I'll be there to watch it. You know, another crazy ass Saw movie to line up for. So I'm giving Spiral a 7 out of 10. Although I would like to see them actually take a more compelling and intricate deep dive into a storyline like the first film, I don't think we're ever going to get that again. But you know, never say never. But honestly, I would be more interested in seeing the more polished psychological thriller type shit from back in the day, much more rather than what we get these days with the new Saw films. But you know, whatever, because right now I'm cool with this because it's fun and entertaining for the moment. At some point, I would really like for us to get back to that old school original thriller, gory, you know, fun puzzle, deep psychological type shit from back in the day with the first film. So yeah, and Spiral releases May 14th, which is this Friday in theaters. But there you have it, and if you enjoyed the content, you know what to do. Thank you for watching.